Let's begin with the story where 10 people have died and 7 others injured after a story building collapsed in Ibadan, Oyo State capital. Residents who expressed shock called on the government to take immediate action to prevent similar tragedies from occurring in the future. Senior reporter Olaide Oyewole was there and now reports.
Residents of Jegede, Olorunshogu area of Ibadan were thrown into mourning after a dilapidated single-story building collapsed, killing 10 individuals and injuring 7 others. Members of the community confirmed the incident occurred around 12 a.m., causing widespread panic and leaving residents in shock and disbelief. They revealed that the building served as a makeshift facility for caring psychiatric patients, and one of the victims was a visitor. What I can say is that Wale came to visit a girl which he was dating when he met his untimely death. If he had not come, this wouldn't have happened. Although there is a limit to what the government can do, however, we would like to still implore the government to help us work on dilapidated buildings like this.
The
community was left traumatized, with victims, including children, laid to rest in a mass burial. Government officials described the incident as heartbreaking and pledged to take all necessary measures to prevent similar tragedies in the future.
That's why His Excellency Governor Sheyi Makinde approved recently what I will call building amnesty, whereby buildings in the state are expected to have a building approval. I can tell you without any search that this building affected doesn't have any building approval.
And government, our local government, through the director of works, will still be moving around and check some buildings which are not conducive for living.
The police, in their reaction, said it has put adequate security in place in the area to prevent hoodlums from taking over the incident scene. Olaide Oyewole, TVC News, Ibadan.
A sad incident there made the souls of those who lost their lives in the collapsed building rest in peace. They have been buried. 7 are said to were rescued from that distressed building. Perhaps this is where one commends Lagos State for what it has been doing with regards to distressed buildings when it goes about checking for such kinds of buildings and also to ensure that they pull it down to avoid these kinds of issues. And sometimes when state governments embark on such activities, people begin to, speak in all sorts of ways, castigating government that's pulling down structures and all. But it is to avert these kinds of things. 10 persons were killed. These people have families, friends, and they have been thrown into mourning, as it is. And one of the persons who spoke said that the building was weak. Is there a measure in place by the state government where people can report buildings that they deem as weak, such that the government can come and have an integrity test done on such buildings? These are the measures the state government needs to start putting in place right now. Look at people's faces, weeping, tears, sadness, and all. This could have been avoided.
It actually could have been avoided, and you know that Lagos State has been in this sort of situation before, and so all of this, there was a particular year, I know I was covering building collapse back to back, so until about 2019, 2020, back to back, and it was a huge source of concern for a lot of us, because before you know it, it's happening somewhere else and all of that. So the Lagos State government had to be proactive to bring up measures, to create units and departments to address or look into specific areas in the built environment. And so this has helped. There's the Lagos State Building Control Agency. There's the material testing laboratory and all of that. So now if you want to build your house in Lagos, you must provide evidence. Alongside your documents, you must provide evidence that you have tested the materials. You're testing even sand, the block, the water. You're testing all of those to ensure that they are up to standard. Even when you mix it, you test it. You must actually bring the material testing officials to your land at every point before you finish building. So when you are done, they give you a certificate that, yes, this building is up to standard for staying. And it's been working well. Yes, there have been 1 or 2 building collapse in recent time, but it's not as before. You know, so these are the kinds of things that state governments need to work with. They need to understand that when a building collapses, it's not just about the fact that people are going to be displaced. Lives are already lost. You know, breadwinners are lost, families and children, they are lost in the process, in the rubble, in the process. And so it affects a whole lot. It affects people's mindset. It affects their psyche and all of that. So
I mean, look at the state of the building.
And the funny thing is, this has happened. After a while, nobody talks about it again until another one happened. And before you know it, you'll be hearing things like the building was marked for demolition, the people refused to leave, all of those kind of things. But the state government needs to be proactive enough to be able to do the needful. Lagos State, yes, has been able to do that. Sometimes we get to a point where they give the occupants of a particular building who they feel, which they feel is not in good condition or is distressed, they give them an opportunity to leave. Sometimes they will come and forcefully eject them, telling them that this building is not good for habitation. For you, yes. It's not good to stay in.
Right. Now, that's another aspect that has to be talked about moving this person. So we know what the cost of renting an apartment is right now. It is cutthroat. So some of these kinds of buildings serve as, well, they are affordable for most of these persons. So is government going to look at providing such kinds of apartments that are affordable for people so that it is not that people are finding it difficult to move out? So that if you are asking people to move out, you create some form of an arrangement, they stay there for a bit, and if there's something government can do for them such that they resettle and settle, comfortably, that will also be good. So affordable housing is key.
It's actually
such
key.
That people will not be going for distressed buildings as alternatives.
Yeah, but if
we'll have to leave it here.